Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we are looking at another new model from Spinnaker, who just seem to be releasing watches left, right and centre. All of Spinnaker's are dive-based watches, so this is called the Amalfi, which is very much like all of their others. Very good specs, good build quality, attractive pricing as well. So, let's have a look at it in closer detail to see if it is worth the money. So they claim that this is inspired by the Amalfi Coast, a beautiful peninsula in Italy. Now, I've actually been there, and let me tell you, it is quite possibly one of the most beautiful places on earth. So I have been very fortunate to visit. How that relates to this watch, I'm not entirely sure, but it's still a lovely place. So slight name disconnect, but to be honest, it's better than having another diver called Dive Master or Ocean Master or Shark Master, the similar kind of boring stuff. So there we go. So this is the Spinnaker Amalfi, and as you can see, it is an absolute beast. So let's discuss it in closer detail. Starting off with the price. The price is $400 RRP. That equates to about £305. Don't forget though that there is a code out there for my followers, Watch All About followers, WIAA15. That will give you 50% off, so that makes it $340 or £260. So immediately much more reasonable. Under £300, you are getting a hell of a lot of watch for your money. So let's talk about the specs. First of all, it is flipping huge, 46 millimeters in diameter. So I've got a slightly over 7-inch wrist for reference. 46 mil diameter, a height of 15 mil, and a lug-to-lug length of 51.8 mil. Let me tell you now, if you have anything less than 7-inch wrist, it is going to look quite ridiculous on you. It is massive, as you can see. I just about pass it off. On top of that, the weight is 208 grams, so it is genuinely a beast. You are getting a hell of a lot of watch for your money, a hell of a lot of steel. It is just chunkiness personified. So that will obviously be dependent on personal taste. Loads of people love chunky watches. I personally really like them. Loads of people dislike them and dislike large watches. This will obviously not be for you. Despite its size and weight though, it is actually really comfortable to wear. The bracelet is very, very comfortable. The shape of the case as well, it just feels really good on. Obviously the weight is something to consider, but apart from that, the general overall comfort is actually really, really good. 20 atmospheres or 200 meters. It is a proper rated dive watch, man. 200 meters, you're covered for anything really. You could go properly diving with it, so that's good. 24 mil lug width, so if you did want to replace it with some other straps, you've got a pretty chunky lug width. It obviously has to be that wide to not look stupid with the size of the diameter of the case, so I think that is suitable. 2-year warranty, which is pretty good as well from Spinnaker. Finally, the movement, Seiko NH35 movement, and as you can see, there's a customized rotor on it as well. When I say customized, it is basically just a sticker on the rotor. However, it's still nice to see that they have put a little bit of effort into it. There we go. So some specs include 24 joules, 21.6 thousand beats per hour, so it runs at 6 ticks per second. You can see there, relatively smooth sweep, and you have hacking, seconds hand, and hand wind and automatic winding capabilities. Power reserve of approximately 41 hours as well. I've put this specific one on my Lepsy watch scope, and it's coming in at plus 7.0 seconds a day, so it is actually pretty good out of the box. I can't imagine Spinnaker will have actually made any effort to improve or regulate the accuracy of the movement, so it's pretty good that it's coming out at 7 seconds a day straight out of the factory, which is what I imagine is happening. So all in all, from top to bottom, good specs for the price. Let's keep in mind, $340, 260 quid, what you're getting. So let's think about each aspect. Starting off with the dial. So first of all, it is a dive watch. Let's not forget that. Legibility is key for dive watch, and this Amalfi certainly is legible. We have gigantic hour markers. We have very bold and cool shaped funky shapes of hour and seconds hand as well. I think it's pretty kooky. One of my work colleagues referred to it as a dartboard, however, and I see where he's coming from. So obviously, it is to a specific taste, but I really like seeing stuff that's slightly different. You know, we've got little with the second or with the minute and hour hand. Sorry, we've got you know, hues of the Omega plot prof almost as well. So nice, nice design. Not just another sub homage or you know, DSSD, for instance, deep sea. It's nice to see something a little bit different. The lume is really good as well. So I've got my UV torch, just a quick blast. This is daylight, bearing in mind. Really, really bright. So I'll show you a lume shot in the dark now. So you know, when you come in from daylight, after it's charging, you go into a darker room, it is obvious. The lume is very, very good. In fact, I'd probably say it's the best lume I've seen on a Spinnaker yet. So that is a good fat tick for the Amalfi. Obviously, that's always very important for a diver as well, just legibility in general, and the lume. So the dial itself is sort of set on 2 different levels. As you can see, we have the central section and then a raised section, which contains the hour markers. The general fit and finish of the dial is actually really, really good as well, to be honest. We'll get the macro lens on later to check it out in closer detail though. Moving on to the case then. First of all, it's got sapphire crystal, and that sapphire crystal has really good anti-reflective coating. In actual fact, it's probably one of the best reflective coating I've seen on a Spinnaker. As you can see, you know, if I put it directly into a light, we do get reflections, which is unavoidable. However, for the most part, it is genuinely really, really clear, and sometimes you get a little flash of blue as well, which is really nice. So to the naked eye, the crystal is really good, really nice and clear, and it looks great as well. I think it makes quite a lot of difference when you have a decent anti-reflective coating. And moving on to the case. So the case is massive, but before we get onto the size of the case, you know, this anodized bezel insert, really funky as well. Again, we'll look at it in closer detail with the macro lens, but this this detailing is all sort of engraved out of the top, and I think it works really well. It's nice and obvious, easy to read, nicely done as well. The action of the bezel, I don't know if you can hear that. Nice solid click. Let's check the alignment. So we've got fairly good alignment, not absolutely spot on, but very, very close. Nice and easy to use as well, with thanks to the good grip. So the case in itself is fairly straightforward, just a standard barrel. We've got slightly angular crown guards, and the crown itself is very similar to all the other Spinnakers, with the Spinnaker logo lightly engraved on the end. Pretty nice, nicely detailed. Moving on to the case back, got primarily brushed with our exhibition case back, exhibition window for the movement as well. So there's only a little bit of polished work on the case, and that is these top polished shoulders of the lugs, which brings, you know, a nice little polish on top of top corners of the crown guards as well. Brings a nice array of finishes there. Moving on to the strap, the bracelet, fully brushed, which is good because that will, you know, won't pick up as many scratches. Very nice thick links as well, as you can see there. Just the general finishing is pretty neat. Fairly good fit on the end lug as well, solid end lugs as you'd imagine. And then moving on to the double locking clasp. So we have a top flap, Spinnaker logo engraved on the main section there. Nice action on that, and then we press the 2 buttons to release it, so nice and secure as well. All right, then, let's check it out in even closer detail with the macro lens. Okay, starting off with the dial then, you can see our nice thick hour markers, sort of with a brushed surround to them, all very well finished. I do like what they've done with the date window and date wheel as well. Obviously the wheel matches the black of the dial, but it's got this funky red border to it and a nice little sort of beveled inside step, so it's a very nice seamless approach to it. Print work, pretty fine as well. Moving on to our hands, you can see there sort of a funky brushed finish to it, and our painted border to our minute hand as well. Again, nicely done, even close up. And see if we can check out our rehaut. You see there, and we can see our like double double layer of the dial there as well. One thing I have noticed which is nice is they've opted for a printed logo rather than one of their cheap and tacky looking sticker logos, so that's a nice plus. Moving on to the case, so first of all the bezel, you can see our insert here, like anodized steel, looks cool, nice depth to it, pretty nice accuracy as well, as you can see there. Nice, you know, something different about it which is cool, but good depth on it as well, so you get a feeling of good quality on it. Here's our grip of our bezel, and then moving down to the finishing of our case. Nothing too exciting, just a fairly straightforward brushed side, polished lugs. Flipping it over to see our crown. There's our crown there with the Spinnaker logo engraved on the end. Alright grip on that crown, so it's average, you know, it's usable. And then flipping it over to see our case back. Got some various information dotted around the outside, and then we can check out our movement as well. If I can get a decent view on this. So there's our Spinnaker sticker, and the bridges of the movement is fairly alright as well. Moving on to the bracelet then. Our links, nice brushed, all uniform. Flipping it over to its side. There's our links. Good thickness on them, decent quality. And finally, our buckle. There's a Spinnaker logo. And everything else is fairly boring in terms of the logo. Here's a little nibbly bit, and moving on to the other side, little clasp it. There we go. All right then. So, what do I think about the Spinnaker Amalfi? Well, $340 or £260, when you consider everything, you are getting a lot of watch for your money. Now, the primary concern of mine is simply the size. 46mm diameter is absolutely massive, as you can imagine. Now, thankfully, it is relatively comfortable on the wrist, so that does work in its favour. However, it will not be suitable for many people. Obviously, those people who just don't like large watches or chunky watches, there's no point in even considering this watch. However, you know, when you think about what you do get for the money, you are getting a lot. 20 atmosphere, 200 meter water resistance, Seiko NH35 movement, a really nice anti-reflective coating on the sapphire crystal as well. Just general, you know, great build quality from top to bottom. You are getting a lot of watch for less than £300, and I think that is where Spinnaker really like to stand, and they stand in that category really, really well as well. So this is another fine example of a great diver from them. Visually, it is definitely a like it or loathe it kind of feel. Obviously, my work colleague doesn't like it, claiming that it looks like a dartboard. I personally quite like it, mainly because I'm pretty fed up of seeing so many Submariner homages. It's nice to see something a little bit different, and it's functional as well. Don't forget, it is a dive watch. It's meant to be legible, and for that they've done a very, very good job because of the strength of the loom, just how, you know, easy it is to read as well. Legibility is always very important for genuine divers, and I think Spinnaker have actually done a really good job on making it legible, but also, you know, giving it some nice design cues as well. It looks a little bit funky, a little bit different as well. So I do really, really like it, and it is a great watch for the money. So this was the Spinnaker Amalfi. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and also subscribe as well. So thank you, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.